guys, welcome to our channel Beautypedia. Today, I'm your Pavitra Shaktivel going to teach you the lesson A Letter to God. What do you understand by this topic, A Letter to God? Do you think is it possible to send a letter to God? No, right? Can we write a letter to God and post it in post office? No, it's really not possible. But a man is writing a letter to God. And do you think that letter will reach God? No, right? Yes, we'll see the story in this lesson. And we'll see how a letter can be returned from God to this man. Yes, a letter from God is returning to him. But whether this is God or not, we'll see. Yes, come on, let's move into the chapter. This chapter, A Letter to God, is written by G. L. Francis. This chapter is written by G. L. Francis. And this chapter is the story of a man, Lenko. This is the story explaining about Lenko writing a letter to God. I already said writing a letter to God is really impossible, yes. We'll see how he writes a letter to God. Now I'm going to say, who is Lenko? Lenko was a poor man, poor farmer, but a hard-working farmer. Farmer simply means a hard-working farmer only. His house was on the top of a hill, and that was the only house in the valley. Oh, I'm saying he's living in a valley, and in that whole valley, his house was the only one in the top of the hill. He hoped for a good crop, but his fields needed rain, or at least a shower. He waited for the rain and it did not come. One day it started drizzling. In the beginning, Lenko felt the rain drops as new silver coins falling from the sky. But gradually, the rain transformed into a hailstorm. The hailstorm fell for an hour. It destroyed his crops completely. This hailstorm destroyed his crops completely. Lenko's soul was filled with sadness. He was completely pushed into sadness. He thought that they would go hungry the whole year unless they found someone who could help them. He thought this because the salary or the money what he's getting from the single time he's cropping in the year is the money he's going to use for the complete year. But when this hailstorm destroyed his crops, he was completely pushed to sadness and full of sadness. Suddenly, the heart was filled with hope. Do you think what's that hope will be? Yes, yeah, I think your thought will be right. He had firm faith in God. He had a lot of faith in God. He believed God completely and he started to depend God only. Lincoln knew how to write and read. The following Sunday, he wrote a letter to God mentioning his destroyed crops and asked him for money so that he would sow his field again. Yes, it's really very funny, but he done that. Then he put the letter in an envelope, addressing it to God, and went to a post office. He affixed a stamp on it and dropped it in the mailbox. The letter, what he wrote, in that to address will be there, right? In that to address, he wrote, it's the letter to God. It's really very surprising and also not believable. It's not fair at all. Yes, he done that. The postman who took the letter out of the mailbox saw the letter and showed it to the postmaster. He was not even able to understand whether a letter can be sent to God. Everyone in the post office had a hearty laugh. Yes, everybody will laugh, right? Because someone is writing a letter to God, it's not believable and it's not possible to send a letter to God. So all laughed. But immediately the postmaster realized the man's faith in God and unshakable faith in God. He decided to help the man. He discussed with his employees, and all of them decided to part with some money for an act of charity. They collected the money, put them in an envelope, and addressed it to Lenko. This letter contained a single word in the form of signature God. The next Sunday, Lenko went to the post office. The postmaster handed him the letter. Lenko was not at all surprised on receiving a letter from God. He had an unshakable faith that God would repay in the form of money, and he did receive it. He opened the envelope but became angry on counting the money. Do you think why? Yes, there were only 70 pesos in the envelope, whereas he asked for 100 pesos. He knew God would not have made mistake. Yes, right, God would not made a mistake. So he thought that. And immediately he wrote another letter to God, put it in the mailbox, and he went out. The postmaster took out the letter from the mailbox and opened it. Lenko had requested God to send the rest of the money, that is 30 pesos, as he had received only 70 pesos. Lenko had the feel that the people working in the post office had cheated him by taking out some money from God's envelope. So he wrote that God should not send money through mail as according to him. And he also says He also said it's a very notable point here that he said the post office employees as a bunch of crooks. And it's not correct, right, to say someone who is helping us as a bunch of crooks. It's not right. But even Lenko don't know that post office employees had helped him. There is mistake on him also, and what he said, that bunch of crooks, is not correct also. He could not, he should not say like that. Even though he don't know, he should not say. That's correct. And friends, I hope my teaching is understandable to all of you. If you have any doubts, you can ask to me in the comment box. Also, subscribe my channel. See you in the next lesson. Bye.